Good afternoon, Salome B here, and this one is called XXXTentacion was shot dead today, and it was very tragic, but I can't say that I didn't expect it. His fans do not believe that he's dead. Rapper X, we just gonna call him X because I can't pronounce his name, is an anomaly for many fans and artists who rose to prominence. He has a stomach-turning series of criminal charges that include domestic battery charges that include domestic battery by strangulation, false imprisonment, and aggravated battery of a pregnant woman. And his name is Jacin Dwayne Onroy. He became one of the most heard musicians in modern times. X mugshot from a 2016 arrest is misappropriated as Che Guevara t-shirt for a new age. X is a mixture of DMX and Elliott Smith. Despite his terrifying pain, he calls people noticed his talents as a writer, painter, and a storyteller. Now that's a brief synopsis of who X is, but I really want to talk about, this is called Worshiping the God of the Underworld, which is Pluto. Pluto was discovered in early 1972. It's a hidden planet, and it is the ruler of Scorpio and Aries and Mars. It's hidden. It cannot be seen, and it is also the planet of the underworld, or the god of the underworld. That's what they call it. Now, Pluto is the ruler of Scorpio, as I said. It's also known as the god of Hades in astrology. The Pluto energy is transforming. Pluto is associated with renewal and rebirth. Pluto is obsessive desire for power and control and general destructiveness. Now, when we look at X here, this young man was in and out of jail. He was fighting. He was being beat up. His appearance also, showed a lot of scorpion energy to me, because he's very different. And as the article I was reading, they said that he's an anomaly, which means he can't be understood. And Pluto is one of the planets that cannot be understood. And I do believe that he has a lot of Pluto in his chart, and maybe some Uranus and some Neptune, because Neptune puts you right at the music industry. And Neptune is dealing with music and religion. So with this young man, he, like other rappers, worshipped or talked about death a lot. And these people that talked about death a lot more than likely had a lot of Pluto energy in their chart, because Pluto deals with death and rebirth. And we're going to name a few artists that always talked about death in their lyrics, and they end up dying eventually because they could predict what was going to happen to them, because they were actually doing a lot of the actions that Pluto does in your life if there's a lot of it in your chart. Now, DMX talked about death a lot with his Dark Man X. That's Pluto energy. Notorious Big talked about dying before he died. Tupac talked about death. The Ghetto Boys talked about death, but they didn't talk about it as much. And those are to name a few. Pluto, the dark side, is fighting, power, killing, obsession, possessive, jealousy, envy, crime, violence. Rappers have been worshiping Pluto for years. Some say it's Baphomet, the goat that they're worshiping, but Baphomet, the goat, is Saturn, which is Capricorn. It has nothing to do with death. Saturn has nothing to do with death. Pluto has everything to do with death. They aren't representing Saturn. Pluto is hidden and it cannot be seen. It only can be felt. And when you feel it, it brings on possessiveness, jealousness, envy, crime, violence, all of those. But Pluto also has another side called death and rebirth. With Pluto, it also deals with transformation. Now, transformation can be change or death. When a person dies, that's a form of transformation. Their spirit is transformed into another form, which we do not know. Rebirth is dealing with reincarnation, either to change physically in life, change one's life, change one's actions, thinking. That's the physical world. But the spiritual world, when it talks about transformation or rebirth, is talking about death and life. When a person passes away, that can also be looked at as transformation because, again, they transform into another form. The spirit does not die. So rebirth is when a person either, like I said, changes their ways, become a different person, change their appearance. But if it's spiritually, they become something else. They disappear from this world, go somewhere else, and they are reincarnate later on in life, which is rebirth. If you ever hear old ladies say that for one person, every person that dies, a child is born, that is rebirth. That is rebirth. That is reincarnation. Life is in a cycle and it recycles. So this is Pluto energy. And this young man was reeling with Pluto energy, the way that he carried himself. Pluto energy is dark. It's black. It's mysterious. It can't be understood unless it's studied. It's nothing to be afraid of, but if you worship death, more than likely you will end up meeting Pluto's energy, and you will end up being destructive and ended up dying a early death, like this young man right here. But more than likely, when things like this happen, as far as early deaths, Pluto can be seen in a person's chart. It can be seen that it's going to happen. So this, when things happen and it is allowed to happen by the Creator, it's meant to be. So this young man is going to another world, and all we can say is rest in peace. But my talk with you today is about Pluto energy. This young man welded a lot of Pluto energy. He was very, very turbulent, very, very just strife and fighting. And Pluto is all of that. So let's keep talking about this. Like, share, subscribe. Salon B. Have a great day.